I'm pretty sure I know what song I want played at my funeral.
Oh.
This
is going different.
Yeah. Well, I kind of meant to start this way last week, but then it didn't happen. So it's like, I'll bring that up this time. I'm driving around and I'm listening to Frank Sinatra for some reason, right? And it's kind of ironic. Like, I'm kind of ironically listening to it. You know, when you're playing something you think it's a little silly, right? And it's not
I love
it's
Frank
silly.
Sinatra, so
well, no. Let me explain further, because you
Okay.
might be more on board with this.
Okay.
When I was young, like when you would listen to like old school classic, like you know, the classic music, it was like, oh, this is lame, you know. And so then later in life, I would do a song like that for karaoke or something.
Yep.
And then I don't do that anymore, but I still like some of those songs.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I should listen to some more Frank Sinatra.
You should.
Right? Like,
Everyone
really,
should.
Actually. It's like, I'm listening to My Way, and I'm thinking, this is playing at my funeral.
Yeah.
Like, this song is for me, for my funeral. And then I was telling my coworker about it, and he was like, oh, yeah, that song's, like, super satanic, and they hate that song at the church I go to. They do sermons on that song.
I mean, Sarah's going to be all for that being your funeral
Around
song, then.
My Way?
Yeah.
Just because it's selfish?
It's selfish and
Hilarious.
self-important, and it's all about not sacrificing, doing your own thing. Like,
I would have thought they would have had more of a problem with the fact that he ordered hits on people.
I would have thought they had more of a problem with the fact that he was a publicly known atheist.
Yeah.
When no one else was.
Alcoholic, womanizer,
Yeah.
hitman. Well, he wasn't a hitman, but he was a shot caller.
And the more you know about him, the cooler he
Frank
gets.
Sinatra was what now?
What do you mean?
He was all these things?
Oh, yeah.
Or just the lyrics of the song are?
Oh, My Way?
My Way
My Way
was...
is just about him doing his thing.
But Frank Sinatra was into all this shit.
Oh, yeah, he was in with
He
the mob.
had his hands in everything, as far as I know.
No
Because
way.
Vegas built Vegas was built by the mob, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they loved Sinatra, and Sinatra became
Yeah, it was
one of the gang.
rumored that he was like the big boss behind a lot of the crime that was happening.
If not, he was in I know that he was for sure ordering heists, and like there's at least 2 deaths that they would link to something to do with him saying.
No way.
Yeah, not necessarily like he said,
See,
"Hey,
now
go
you're
kill
making
this
me
guy,"
sound.
but
Now you're making me sound bad, because I'm like, oh, Frank Sinatra.
well, I get it. Like, you know, you're surrounded by power and influence, and you know,
Of course.
you got the Jack Daniels flowing, and you
Fill your cup, man.
yeah, you're banging out hit songs. You know.
Yeah, hit songs, and that's another thing. When I'm listening to Christmas music, it's kind of ironic at work, but I'm also going, as silly as I'm pretending this is, I actually like this music a lot, and I wish there were more reasons to listen to it. Because
Yeah,
it's not
that's
like you
fair.
have like, oh, it's Easter songs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Thanksgiving songs. You know, Christmas, you go back and you listen to that old classic music, and you're like, this actually doesn't sound bad though. Why don't we listen to this still? I think
Well,
some people do.
I think it might like that style of music people still listen
do
to.
the new versions of it. It's not
Oh,
as
it
good.
sucks.
It's like, who do you think you are, Frank Sinatra?
No, no
You
one
can't
is.
pull it off.
These lyrics aren't even crazy.
No, they're not.
No.
No,
but that's the
they're-
thing. They're just saying it's about self-importance and
Yeah, they did.
selfishness.
He told me that his church had a sermon on like how that song, not Frank Sinatra necessarily, but that song is the devil's song, and like you should do it God's way, right? Like they were very vehement about it. They
New
played it
song
first.
called God's Way.
Yeah.
They played it
Let's
first.
do it God's way.
And nobody knew why they were listening to it. Everyone just kind of clapped, I guess.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the priest or pastor or whoever it was just like, "This is
You guys are sinners.
yeah, this is the devil's song."
I'm super down
Very
to beat up on some
calmly-
Christians right now.
Yeah.
Not physically.
Yeah, not
Just-
physically.
yeah, like this way.
Yeah.
Let's not.
I've recently booked a flight to New Brunswick, so I'm preparing myself to physically and emotionally hide so many parts of myself.
Oh, dude.
I'm really
That
not
sounds
excited about
very
it,
comfortable.
and I'm getting a little bit like resentful of the whole situation.
Good.
That's why I never want to go home myself.
Yeah, it's quite shitty.
Like, I've no interest in going to Nova Scotia and my mom would love me to,
Yeah.
because I have family there, whatever that means. But they're almost all dead, too. But the ones that are there, they don't know who I am, and they won't be happy when they do.
No,
Right?
no.
It won't
They
make
will
matters better for
Oh,
either
your
party.
family. Good.
Oh, you're my family? And then they grab a cross or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, they're Christian, too.
Yeah,
Like-
it's
Oh man, you should just say like "Hail Satan" with like everything that you say, just to
Just at the end of any sentence.
yeah. Oh, it's pretty. I'm doing pretty good. Hail Satan. Like,
Just really ham it up.
just tuck it in there every once in a while.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, the Frank Sinatra thing was like I was listening to that song, and you know when you start to realize all the words, and you kind of had a gist of the song, and then you're like, oh, all of these lyrics are supporting the same theme.
Yep.
And it's a theme that I truly believe in, right? Like it even feels like if I was driving, listening to that song, and I got hit by a bus, that would be like a theatrical death for me, right? It's always a bus with me. Why is it always a bus?
There's just a shitload of buses out there. It's just
I've been there before, though.
Bus.
Where you're like, if I go out this way, it's like, this is how the movie ends. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I died listening to that song, it would be the way you would put it in a movie you were making of my life, I feel like. And maybe that's self-important. Maybe I don't deserve that song. Don't get me wrong. But, like, you know what a song you just vibe with it?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, this is it.
dude. I'm with you.
Yeah. So what's yours? Do you have one?
Funeral song? Oh man, it would be some sort of sweet funk tune.
Really?
Yeah,
Go a little funky with it, eh?
yeah.
I hate when people
Like
make
Pow.
it so sad.
"Pow" by Larry Graham. The words being "Pow."
Yeah.
I caught you with your funk down.
Okay.
"Pow, I got you. Don't ever let that guard
Your
down."
death
Yeah.
is sounding a little different from my death.
Hey man,
They
you know,
wouldn't share the stage.
I'm just saying, if you haven't heard it, "Pow"
I
by Larry
will.
Graham and the Graham Central Station.
I'll have to look
It'll
it
change
up.
your life.
We'll play it today.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah, I hate when they make it too sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they want everyone. It's like that person when they were picking them, if they picked, whoever picked for them in some cases, was too emotional about it.
Yeah.
And they just chose.
Is there
like,
a funeral song? That sounds crazy to me.
There's
there's
a funeral
funeral
song,
songs.
of course, yeah.
Like
My
a
dad
main
had
one.
two.
Huh.
But we had did a slideshow of pictures of him kind of thing. It was a really small funeral because he had no family but like his two sons and
Yeah.
my fiance at the time and my
Crazy.
mother and just like there was maybe 20 people total. And we did a slideshow of like pictures of him with his kids and stuff, which there weren't many.
Yeah.
And we played two Alter Bridge songs that he loved. And the only one who knew what to pick for him was me. Because no one else knew. My mom had like the most generic like country songs that would fit anyone.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is
Did
not
he love
him.
Garth Brooks, or is
Yeah,
this just
he was an Iron Maiden guy, but later in his life he kept up with music as it kind of changed. He didn't get super heavy, but he
Yeah.
stayed like like alternative metal kind of range.
Alter Bridge is that nice crossover band for
Rock
old,
and
old
metal.
guys that still want new rock.
Exactly. Yeah, and not too bad. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a few of their songs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, we played two of their songs at his funeral.
Yep.
And yeah, there are funeral songs though.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have to
There's
pick
the
that
funeral,
over.
You can go to the
How,
funeral march.
Some of them will
Fun
pick
one.
for you if you don't.
Yep.
So
Truth.
it's important for me to know what music's gonna be playing at my funeral for
Yeah.
some reason.
That's reasonable.
I don't want to be misrepresented.
Part of me doesn't even want a funeral because, like, what are
yeah.
we doing?
Exactly.
I do want a funeral, but for the same reason I would enjoy like the karaoke thing or like if I ever got roasted. Sorry for this.
Boom, roasted.
like anything like that where it's like almost like I enjoy the spectacle of the moment.
Sure.
Because you're not getting anything else.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And it's not like I'm expecting anyone to remember me for long after I'm gone either.
See, I would like if it's just like, okay, funeral costs or whatever, it's like, okay, well, burn me, but like, or put me in the ground and like don't.
I would
friends
love
will
to
have a
it
big
paid
party.
for by my estate.
Well, see,
My friends
that's
will
what
have
I
a
was
big,
thinking,
very
like-
mushroomy party.
That's
for
what I
me.
was thinking, like a big, like dinner that I've paid for. Oh, I will get that.
A big dinner, yeah. See, I would want my funeral to be paid for not by my loved ones, like my father's was.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Came out of my mother and I's wallet, basically. I would prefer it to be, from what I had left over.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
then whatever else I've got left, I give to my son and my wife,
That's
kind
right.
of thing. And that's who's getting everything.
Hopefully you've left your son the house, so he's like, oh yeah, paying for your funeral is like not a big deal.
Well, this is the thing. Like, in my own sense, like, I know I say all the time, the credits could roll on my life. And
Yeah.
whatever. But, like, honestly, yeah. I've left my son in a way better position than my dad left me.
Oh God.
So if you're looking at a lineage thing, it's like, hey, at least my dad, my death won't cause debt for my son.
One of the worst part is I just mentioned the family thing.
Yeah.
Since I'm not in religion anymore, I'll just get like my grandparents do have like some equity built up, some savings built up. My parents, by the time they pass, will have house equity of some kind. I'll get nothing. I won't see a fucking penny.
Just because of religion, they cut
Yep.
you out, eh?
Yep. I was once in for like what's the will? I was in the will before I left for all of my grandparents, kind of like the house, the property, probably some like decent equity, like 52 acres, and a beautiful log house and a garage. And yeah, just no more.
Was it worth
Isn't
it?
that weird? Like that like just to kind of be who we
yeah.
are. It's like, oh no, I'll just give up my inheritance.
They're
and-
consenting for me to visit them, and I have to put on the mask and pretend to fit within a certain
Like you have a
guideline.
rules list written out. You cannot say these things while you're here.
Oh,
Well, he knows the
absolutely.
rules.
No,
Yeah,
I know
the
yeah. No,
rules.
so not written
But,
out.
but
like,
basically, yeah. Like, I can't talk about living with my partner who I'm not married to. I can't talk about being a tattoo artist.
So this is-
I have to lie about everything in my life.
Yeah,
It goes
literally-
back-
There's
literally.
very little I can be honest about.
my
Even how you
very
speak
first
is going
point,
to have to change.
Yeah.
the Frank Sinatra, where these people would like to have this song removed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's spreading the devil's word, and I'm thinking, here we are in
Just
2020.
cancel it.
2020. We
Can't
are.
sing a song from the 50s.
There are people out there that are done with a song from the 50s.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't. It's too forward thinking for them. Like, and yet we have other people who aren't happy with any amount of censorship that you can do, right? So we have people in extremes right now.
Yeah,
when
we
he
have a-
told me that, I was like, "This happened 20 years ago." He's like, "No, this was like last week." It's like, what?
It's selective extremism.
Like what?
'Cause
it's
it's-
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean,
fucking old.
if you start looking at all of them, everything as it goes back, because like Frank Sinatra said some wild shit, man.
He did.
Like,
But we're
and
still
like
saying wild
presidents said wild shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
We don't realize how crazy some of those presidential speeches were.
dude, yeah,
Like eerie.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, what is he talking about? And then you don't want to look too far in.
Yeah.
It's like you're not getting out of that rabbit hole.
yeah.
I don't want to get into conspiracy theories.
I know. I was gonna jump into it. I'm like, no,
No,
that's
let's
gonna
not go
be too
there.
deep.
But yeah, the
We have
old
to educate
presidential
ourselves better
speeches.
first, okay?
On conspiracy theories, you
Yes.
can't.
Well,
That's
there's
the whole
nothing-
trick of
Yeah,
them.
that's the
Well, no,
That
but-
is one of the big problems.
But educating
is-
yourself, you'll find out which ones aren't just random theories, and which ones are like, oh, this president
I
actually.
don't necessarily believe anything that's said. I always am just like,
Yeah, but you get.
wow, that was weird.
You get into the Reagan war on drugs stuff, and it's no longer a conspiracy theory; it's just a conspiracy. You know? Like
Parts of
there's-
it are conspiracy theories.
I'm gonna
Yes.
take us
But
out of here.
So, like, I would say
Oh yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did go down the rabbit hole.
I would
didn't
just say the
And
conspiracy theory
canceled.
is is the intention part. The actions that happened are like what happened, but like the conspiracy usually comes with whatever intent was given behind it.
Well, yeah, conspiracy is just a plan to do something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's the theory part that is like, oh, is it true or not?
I just think it's the intention because
Yeah.
like what Reagan did was categorically true, but his reasons behind it
Oh, yeah,
are
yeah.
ascribed different intentions that you can't prove,
That's right.
which is
exactly.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but you still look back and see how those actions ended up here.
Yeah, I will
I
say though
just don't
that's the
think-
same argument that my parents make for a lot of the conspiracies that they
See,
argue for.
Oh,
I
fair.
don't believe for
Oh, yeah,
a
I'm
2nd
not
that we
s-
can have access to all the information.
Yeah.
I want it though.
So like even if you can disprove it, I don't think you're able to find the other side anyway, because it's just like a lot of what the presidents deal with, we're never going to know about. Like we're never going to know. We're not going to know everything that we could know.
Actually, I think the president deals with stuff we do know about, and other people deal with stuff we don't know about.
Sure.
Conspiracy.
So, but what I'm getting at is that we don't have all the parts on the
Nah,
table.
nah.
We can't see all the
About
moving
literally
parts.
anything.
About literally anything.
Yeah.
So everything we think down here on the ground floor could be absolutely preposterous.
Or
Okay, let's
absolutely possible.
let's talk about something that's hilarious. So tattooing. Okay, so tattooing in Alberta up
Sure.
until 1976 was illegal.
Yeah.
So why?
That doesn't surprise me. I'm
Because
surprised it
Christianity.
isn't.
Okay, but
If
like
you
why?
told me 1995, I would have been like, what?
Yeah, I know.
But like
76.
1976 seems reasonable to me.
But like
The same
what-
reason abortion was illegal?
No, I don't think so. I think it's self-expression, individualism.
So it's abortion.
well, you got
Because
to
that was like they had to have all the
this,
same
right?
haircuts. They didn't like the hippies with their long hairs.
I've said it before.
Right.
Back then, having one tattoo was being like me.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Oh, yeah.
that
It was
panther in
extreme.
your arm was rebellious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like when you think of it from that standpoint, 50 years ago, tattoos are illegal. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because like that one tattoo said more than my entire body of work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I met the guy in Alberta. He came here to
Yeah,
get a
you
tattoo,
told me about this
and
guy.
he had the first pair of sleeves.
Whoa.
It was
Didn't
the
you get a
first
tattoo
sleeves in
here?
Alberta. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
He got his hand done.
Yeah.
It
By
was gnarly, like
what-
Geddes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The octopus thing. Was
Yeah,
it?
it was Davy Jones across his whole
That's
hand.
right. I
Dude
see.
was made of stone.
And that was a really cool tattoo.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. I wonder how it healed. Did you see how it healed?
Yeah, it
He's
came
got
back.
old skin too. so-
Yeah, no, the hand was perfect. The fingers are the fingers, but it was that kind of like soft tentacle thing, anyways. So it worked.
Yeah, you got to be committed to doing your fingers more than once
Yeah.
if you want them to look good. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
No. Same as the knuckles. I had a guy actually ask me how many times I've done my hands, and I don't think he liked my answer because my hands have both been blacked out 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's true. The fingers have been done 3 times and
Ouch.
2 times. These ones need more love than these ones.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't really gotten any worse since we stopped.
Yeah, I think if you just dot them, you're gonna go into another level.
Yeah,
Once
for
you're
sure.
once you're here every day.
Well,
you
yeah.
just like brrr, brrr,
more and more like once I'm here every day, things become more possible.
Use
for
it
me.
like counting days in prison. You just do 1 dot per
Well,
day.
suddenly I'm not banging my hands around at work all the time.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like nonstop for 50 something hours
And
a
you
week.
can get your hand tattooed here in the morning. Keep working all day with gloves on.
yeah, pretty much.
Not piercing at all, obviously, but piercing it away.
More things are definitely
Yeah.
possible. Because, like I said on I think last week's podcast, I wasn't even sure I would have sleeves. I was like, why? So I can ruin them? And now it's like, oh, that's not a thing.
Yeah,
It's just people's understanding, right?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in most things, that's
But,
the amazing thing about tattooing is such a like. There's not just a wealth of knowledge out there. Everything's like kind of still fringy. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
Even with just like really common things, like the one that bugs me the most is like a cover up and then want to put line work over a cover up. It's like, well, how has no one told you that this is not possible? This is just basic logic. This should be out in the universe.
I've had so many terrible consults in the last week
yeah, I wouldn't doubt
with
it.
this exact kind of crap.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Tell us about those terrible consults.
I feel like I had one. It wasn't yesterday, but it was recent. Today Wednesday. Must be
There's
Monday.
just so many. I don't even know how to start.
Yeah, it must be Monday. I had this
just
one.
looking beaten up over
This lady
Probably.
has 3 tattoos, and she's trying to get me to cover all of them up. One of them is already a cover up of another tattoo.
it. Sure. That's that growing financial arm we were talking about.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here trying to explain to her, and there's like one thing on her
this is how my
like,
portfolio is.
that someone here in town covered up reasonably well, actually. Like covered up with a full color piece, lots of black to cover it. But now it's a thing this big with like 4 flowers and a word. So I'm like, there's no way we're covering that up. I can like try to fix some of this shading by going over with light colors and shading into it with my grays. Like I can do some stuff with this. There's no covering it up. She's got some Chinese symbols on her butt. They need to get fully covered up. So those might be butterfly silhouettes or something.
I got the answer.
Huh.
Just send her a link to my Instagram
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
And
Should do
say,
this.
Be a Regretosaurus Rex. Right? Just a full-on blackout.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what you need, lady.
So I wanted to tell her, stop getting tattooed. Tattoos are not for you. Like, no, if someone
You make bad choices.
over and over again, people walk in and they hate every tattoo in their body, except for that one tattoo that's also mediocre, but it's kind of okay for some weird reason in their head.
Well, it's
like,
an aesthetic they like.
yeah, but it's
Right.
like this is not for you. You hate all your tattoos. Just stop. Come get some laser. And
Here's
then
the thing
stop.
that worries me is that everyone thinks they have to have a tattoo now.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I want. Maybe I'll look on cool tattoos on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And then they just scroll, oh, that one looks okay. I could maybe wear that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I kind of want this.
But they're always behind the curve on it, so it's already
Yeah.
cliche when they get it.
Of course it is.
You know?
Well, it wouldn't be at the top of a Google search if it wasn't cliche.
Exactly. Of course.
Did you ever
Only
find
the
it-
top interesting things are going to make it that far up.
Do you ever find it weird that it's like, especially with the Pinterest thing, other than like the goofy, stupid little things, but like for what we get sent, it's like that's like going to a Kia dealership and being like, "Hey, so I'd like to buy a car. So here's are these pictures of Lamborghinis. Can I have one of those?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like some of these things that they're bringing in here are like, that's a $15,000 tattoo.
Yeah.
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 And you're in here with like, "Hey, I'm on Serb right now."
And I want it done today.
I
Yeah.
want the 1 hour version.
Yeah. Can we just do this, but like in every way different?
It's like, did Rick send you that meme he sent me yesterday? I'm sure he must have sent it to everyone.
I don't know.
He sent me a random meme of a $300 versus $30
Oh, yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was
So-
like,
Alice
yeah.
in Wonderland ones.
Perfect.
Yep.
even though the
Alice
cheap one,
on
even though the
right
shitty
looked
one,
like a rat.
Oh yeah.
the shitty one
With
was
a
probably
finger coming out of her
$300,
mouth.
and the good one was probably $3,000. You know, like
Oh
that's
yeah,
the
there's
difference.
no way the
you
good
know,
one was $300.
yeah, or
Probably more
let's,
like $800.
Let's say 800
Yeah.
and 200. You know,
That's more what I was thinking. I
Yeah.
was like, that's not $300, but
No.
I understand the joke.
that's right.
I just don't think that they've kept up the pricing.
No.
That's right.
It's like it's not realistic for now or 10
Or
years
someone
ago.
made this
No.
meme and didn't know it doesn't have tattoos,
Yeah.
Well, I
or
love-
this is in Alabama, and
or Russia,
yeah.
where most memes are.
But I
made.
don't think they have the dollar sign. Do you think Russia would use the dollar sign?
the people creating memes.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
It depends on.
The robots making memes?
Yeah.
It depends too, because sometimes memes are hijacked, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
like
exactly.
someone will have the joke, and then someone else will put their own spin on it. This
Mm-hmm.
just happened with one of me, because Renez's guys
Yeah.
made a meme of me, and then these English-speaking people co-opted that meme and just translated it,
Yeah.
and they put their patent or their name in it.
Oh wow.
I got them to send it to me because I think I'm going to post it. Because normally I can't get a hold of these memes. Like, I would love to have all of them because I find them hilarious.
Yeah, you should be the NFT holder.
Where
Yeah.
I want them. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't take them as an insult. I take them as a compliment.
Yeah, it's pure
right?
respect.
Yeah. Well, it is. I like the idea of being roasted. Right. I said earlier. So like, I just want them. Usually I can't get them. This one I got a hold of, so I think I'm going to post it. But
That's sweet.
yeah.
I wish it was a meme.
But it was a stolen meme.
Yeah.
To make a long story short.
I like it.
And the guys that did it originally, I seen them comment on it. They're like, "That's ours."
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, but you stole my picture to do
Yeah,
this meme.
that's me.
You stole.
What are we talking about?
You stole me and this other guy to begin with.
Yeah.
And now you're complaining that someone has stolen it from you.
Yeah.
These ideas are all in the air. They're all in the air.
Yeah. That's why I don't believe in IP in the same way that I think most people do. 'Cause it's like everything's kind of out there.
Yeah.
Well, my brother is he works in a law office, not Dave, another one of my brothers. And whenever I get like memed or like someone takes my picture and does something like a Russian guy is selling shirts with my face on them.
Sweet.
I don't know if he's made any money on it or not, but he's
I hope
like,
so.
you should be getting money for that. And you should be like, you should be in there with lawyers. And I'm like, what am I going to be doing this all day?
First of all, you need a pro bono lawyer that's willing to get paid in apparently ruples.
Yeah.
T-shirts. Rubles and T-shirts with your face on them.
Yeah.
How much am I supposed to care about this?
Yeah.
You just kind of go, huh, that's cool, and
Yeah.
move on, right?
It's
It's
not like-
really weird.
It's not like Disney took your likeness or anything like
No,
that,
it's
where it's
not.
like an easy layup.
You could really lose some sleep over. Well, no. Good luck going after Disney.
Oh, they have legal teams to settle for sure.
Yeah, fair.
When
Well,
you
I
get that
always
big,
wonder
it's
about
just
the guys-
settles. You settle,
Yeah,
settle.
or does his pro bono lawyer bounce off of Disney?
I mean, yeah, maybe. I just remember when I was working at Long McQuaid that they were always talking about how the fact that they keep a legal team on retainer to just pay when they get sued. Because it's like we're so big that when
It's going
when you
to
get
happen
sued,
eventually.
it's not whatever the money is. It's not worth the bad press that you're going to get by being the giant company
Right.
suing the shit out of the little company that all of a sudden, or the little person that all of a sudden has to pay the legal fees
That's exactly
of
it.
them. That's like $5,000 an hour. And it's
Yeah.
like the publicity is just horrendous in itself. So it's like, well,
They
they're
have
like,
more
we'll-
to gain from you going after them than you do.
yes.
Yeah, so,
And
so
that's
they're going to
where-
say, we'll give you $100,000 and you can sign this paper, and
Yeah.
we're done here.
Basically, it'll be like, and it would be presented as a threat of a lawsuit. Hey, we're about to bring this to court.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, so here's your check. Go away.
Yeah, yeah. sign this paper saying you'll no longer pursue us for these grounds. And,
and we own it now for some reason. We just do
yeah.
that. In
Well,
there.
that's the issue.
Yeah.
There's got to be a point when it becomes a problem, though. Like, say that company that's Art for You, the ones that keep turning me into a Simpson.
Yep.
And other things.
Yep.
I'm like, if they started making millions of dollars, then all of a sudden the Simpsons are like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But they're making paltry amounts of money.
Yeah.
They are making some money because, like, whenever I post one of those, people will be like, where can I get one? I want to get one for my wife. And then I redirect them. That's why they
Those-
were.
That's
Probably
what
paying
those
$20
things are for.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Like,
exactly.
I really screwed up the other day. I got to make my wife happy. Better make him a Simpson.
It's true. Like, you wouldn't believe how much they've grown
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
from
It's
doing.
like today's flowers.
Yeah, it is. And
Whoops.
the way it works is there's a tattoo page that gets them people, and
Yeah.
they do it by whenever they draw me as a cartoon and I repost it, I get features on 3 of their platforms that have like 500,000 followers.
Oh, that's clever.
Crazy.
It's not great for me because a lot of the people have seen me enough and they're fucking tired of it, where they're like, anyone but this guy.
I mean, we see you every week, and we're just tired of it.
Oh, for sure. This guy again?
Yeah, this Joker.
Find me someone else. Just get some other guy in
Put
here.
another guy's face in a meme.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's diminishing returns for me, but still, I enjoy the cartoons anyway. So it's just an added incentive. But yeah, so they have a big brother that negotiates them new people to work with, and they find people who have high engagement, and they go, we'll get you features if you feature our smaller sister page.
Which it's all content. It's all high traffic.
Yep.
Why not?
People would be amazed at how many like weird backroom dealings there are behind Instagram.
Oh,
for
of
Christ's
course,
sake.
yeah.
Like there's so many like sleazy things going on behind this. It's just pictures. It's not just pictures. Not if you're like really into it. It gets really
Connections.
weird.
I just like.
Like I've got a guy who's making me a full set of jewelry for all of my holes, and he asked me.
Heyo.
Yeah, he asked me, the shipping is going to be like $120. Will you pay half? I was like, no, absolutely not. You can pay me to wear them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just that's how it gets. Like when you have clout, I'm doing you a favor.
Plus,
I'm not paying you for your
$120 from fucking where?
right. But
How much jewelry is this?
He's sending me a ton of jewelry because he's hoping that he's going to get a bump from me wearing. And the truth is, he probably will get a bump, but it's not going to be what he thinks.
You have to hashtag him for the next 3 years. Like,
No, my guess is he'll do a post or two.
I'll do some posts for him,
He'll be like,
and
"Check it
when
out,
people
new
ask
shit."
where it's from, it'll
Yeah.
be one of those. But I did offer him. I said I am looking for a jewelry maker long term to work with, like on a permanent basis. And so if you can make lip jewelry and stuff like more interesting than just plugs, then you'll have a partner, and that will go big for him.
Yeah.
Because like if I'm specifically recommending him to everyone and always mentioning, oh, I get my jewelry from this guy, that's different than going, oh yeah, this dude made me some jewelry once, right? Because then it implies that he has expertise or something.
Right.
This is the only
He's your
guy I
guy.
would go to.
exclusivity, right?
All of a sudden, he goes from 900 followers to 9,000 followers in
Yeah.
a few months, right?
It's partly why we get black work requests here.
Yeah,
It's like,
it does work.
yeah.
It works in ways people don't expect.
I've got my first large-scale blackout coming back, a month healed on Saturday. I'm
You
stoked
finish
to
it
see
that day?
Yeah, well, I'm going to do more.
Yeah.
We're going up to here, so like to do bicep and outside
That's
up
a
to
lot.
here, we might get it done, but I'm going to recommend a slightly,
I would do it in 3 pieces,
yeah,
especially where does this person have a lot of tattoos?
no,
No.
Yeah, so I just think that black work heals funny,
yeah.
and sometimes biting off too much can be detrimental.
Well, we'll see what he said last time was like, because he sent me a lot of like I told him to keep in touch, and he actually did. He's sent me probably 4 or 5 messages over the first like couple weeks, and he seems to have healed great. Like
Yeah.
he's saying it went awesome.
Yeah, from what I saw.
So by all means,
I have no doubt it was good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why? Because
Well-
it's my first big scale blackout.
Well, you saturate well.
But you're
Yeah.
not being arrogant about it either.
No.
Like you're not like, oh fuck it.
Yeah,
It's probably boring for you, but you're taking it seriously.
That's right, yeah.
Right? Because
I've-
so many people don't.
I have enough humility to slow the fuck down,
Yeah.
make a plan, take my time. Yeah.
I
I'm
do
happy
like it
to be done with that process
Yeah.
for the most part.
You're like new tattoo guy.
Well, someone asked me the other day, like, are you gonna do like more blackout stuff on your head or like any other? I'm like, I have no more blackout plans now. Like I started when I was starting doing the new tattoos. It was like, yeah, maybe I'll touch up my legs. Now it's like I'm not going to do that. I'm just
No,
gonna
that
put new stuff over it eventually.
Yeah. And the new stuff over it is going to take any of that inconsistency that will happen eventually, and kind of just hide it. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
So
worries.
like all the little wrinkles are
Yeah.
gonna be hidden behind pieces
Yeah.
instead of chasing my tail for 40
Ever.
years,
Yeah.
blacking things out as they need. Because there's going to be, when you're doing like, say you have a solid limb, one color. Well, say it's pink. Well, now one part of that pink fades. Well, you have to touch that pink up, but now you have to blend that new pink, and all of a sudden you've got half the arm is pinker than the other half.
And now you're finishing the arm.
And that's what you get into with.
Yeah.
'Cause people will be like, "How many passes have you had in your arm?" I'm like, between 4 to 6, easy." And they never expect that. They think that it's once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Not for something like this.
Well, like that dude that sent in his crazy blackout arm. It was just the one arm or whatever, and it was like, yeah, that's 5 passes. And it was like, yeah, of course it's 5 passes, but everybody looks at the one photo and they're like, well, they did it today.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a process.
So this is why
It's a labor of love.
I'm
Yeah.
interested to see my 1 month blackout, because I don't know what I'm expecting.
I feel like the black changes as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know where the other 4 passes come in. I'm like concerned to
Well,
see
if
at
you
what
want to
point
keep it looking good,
those other 4
Yeah.
passes. So I'll have that.
if you want that like smooth painted on look,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like, because like whatever fallout's gonna happen is gonna be not a lot right now, but you're gonna have to probably deal with some of the stuff that you were covering.
Yeah.
And some
Oh,
areas
yeah,
that are
that's a big
just
part of
the,
it.
the flexion areas are going to age differently than others. So it's not like it's going to be free from
Yeah.
those types of things, right?
that's another big part of it is people never understand that it depends on what you're covering.
Yeah.
Like if you just had a pale white arm that has had no tattoos, it'd probably go pretty easy. But
Well,
like
that's
if
the
you've got
trick is-
super saturated, super
But we
scarred
did pretty
work,
good. He had a fallen out blackout already.
Yeah.
On part of his arm.
That's
So
where
it's-
I'm interested to see Saturday.
Yeah.
Because that's all fresh.
So it's either blank skin or old falling apart blackout.
Yeah.
So that's like, which is also easier than normal white skin, I think.
a girl told me the other day, she messaged me. I feel like the help desk sometimes for
You
this
are.
stuff. She's like,
You're 811, but
I
for
got a half
blackout.
sleeve blackout by a pretty good artist. And then 2 years later, I went to a different artist who was also pretty good. She didn't insult either guy. And she's like, but the one arm or one part of the arm is way darker than the other part. And he assured me that it would blend together eventually. I was like, wow.
They're 2 years apart.
I don't
Why would
think
they blend
so.
together?
I was like, you got a different artist.
In
He-
10 years, sure.
He might have been using different
that's
ink.
Exactly.
He
it.
might have used a different needle grouping.
Yep.
Who knows what your diet was like?
Yep.
How did you sleep? How
Yep.
did this thing happen? Like, there's
Yep.
so many factors. I'm like, if he
different
told you
artist.
that, different artist,
2 years apart.
2 years apart,
Like those artists are using different machines, needles, and inks.
exactly.
Techniques,
And-
even.
And
Yeah.
even if they
They've got
weren't,
a different approach.
And oh yeah, like are you scrubbing or scooping?
Mm-hmm.
Are you working the whole thing in long brush strokes and slowly building it up to
As
black?
like he was,
Are
it's
you
an
push?
irresponsible answer on his part.
Yeah, very much
because you
so.
can't even tell. Like,
Well, that's the answer of I don't want to deal with this or
I don't
care
wanna
or
blend it.
any of it.
I don't wanna
It'll be
fix
fine.
that.
Let's just tattoo now.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
and the other thing is like, you wouldn't notice. So like, say I had like a patchwork sleeve. It's just pieces, and there's like spider webbing.
Yeah.
Well, some of those pieces were done by a different artist. Who cares? You
Yeah.
could assume they were done by the same guy. Maybe he was drunk one day. You know what I mean? Maybe one's a little worse than the other. But like with a blackout, when it's all supposed to be the same tone,
Yeah.
you're gonna notice every little problem,
Yeah.
right? Every little inconsistency is gonna show
Whereas
up.
like right now, we can tell that your arms and your legs, same ink, same plan.
That's why I wanted Rick to redo my arms before
Yeah.
we got into the black, because
Yeah.
like the black on black, because I wanted the same tone everywhere.
That's right. That's
and
right.
Rick's legs were different. They weren't as smooth as Lee's.
Yeah.
But they were darker.
That's
so I'm
right.
like, I want my arms to be darker.
Well, and smoothness comes after time anyway, because now like your arms look real smooth now.
yeah, they smoothed out. They were a little choppy after he first did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I was like, whatever, it's gonna be good.
Sweet.
And I'm happy we redid that. But
Yeah.
then I started thinking, But now I have darker arms. It's going to be harder to get a darker line over.
Apparently not.
It's not. It doesn't seem to
incorrect.
make a difference.
Yeah, but I think what you're limiting is the lifespan of the
I
black on
understand,
black.
and I appreciate your concern in this area where you're always, but how will it hold up? We can't know that answer yet.
That's right.
All I
This-
can do is wait.
This is tattoos for science.
So like this stuff on my back is still there. The
Yeah.
filigree is still, but it has softened a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's done softening. Time will tell.
Well, a year is how it settles, right?
Mm-hmm.
A
And
year
we're
is where it
almost to a
settles,
year.
and then after that, it's kind of like when
The first black on black session we ever did was in October.
yeah,
So
because like your skin will age, and the tattoo will age with that as the collagen level goes, but different between the top of the skin and where the ink sits. But like in terms of how that ink has settled and kind of smoothed itself, a year, and then after that, I mean, it's just going to be normal wear and tear.
we'll see how it goes.
But then that would be for the other stuff too.
But
So I would assume that it would still hold up.
my
reasonably
my
well.
key point to Scott's point is, if it fades, it fades. I don't hate the black
exactly.
either way. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I wouldn't be like, oh, I have to live with a blackout tattoo now.
But-
Why?
But
What'd be really hilarious though is if it all like goes away, other than the red and like the little pops of white and silver.
Little weird
It's
boop
like,
boops.
what do you have on you right now?
Well, I figure as in a very old person, it probably will be a little like that.
Yeah, probably.
Like it'll just be like different tones.
I
all
feel
over
like if
the
you just
place.
stopped right now, I feel like in 20 years, you would have some old shit showing through. You'd have some totally blank spots. Like a lot of stuff would kind of
Yep.
come and go.
I think there will be a lot of weird patchiness when I'm a very old human being.
Yeah, yeah.
But by then, we're done anyway.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
It's kind of like admiring a body of work for what it was.
I'm stoked for old faded out tattoos. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
not about
Yeah.
like, oh well, look how stupid you look now. It's like, yeah, but my skin has a story to tell. You should have
Yeah.
seen the stuff I did to this.
Yeah.
You know, like that's more what I would want my end days to be like.
Also, guess what? I'm not taking it too seriously. When I'm old, nothing matters anyway.
Yeah.
I'll be okay with my
Dude,
fucking colorful skin.
We're young and nothing matters anyway, so let's
Exactly.
just keep on rolling.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay, so I have one slightly topical thing.
Sure.
it's an ointment?
Do you guys know who Pete Davidson is?
No.
Yeah.
So he's off of SNL.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a comedian. Blah 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 blah. He's covered in tattoos.
Okay.
Like covered. Some of them kind of like crazy stick and pokes, drunk at a party thing, but he's absolutely covered. It's kind of like that MGK kind of look
Yeah.
that everybody seems to like right now.
Ugh.
Yeah.
My son likes him.
Oh really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyways, he has announced that he is laser removing.
How do we go from MGK to Frank Sinatra, or the other
yeah,
way around?
I know. We screwed
This
up
is
as
the
a world.
fall of Rome.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like,
But-
who the hell's MGK?
Machine
Machine
Gun
Gun
Kelly.
Kelly is,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. But anyways, he is
Rapper?
over the next, I think,
Sorta
punk
rapper.
rock now.
Okay.
Rock
Um,
rap thing. Okay,
he's-
tell your story, sir.
He's getting his entire body laser removed over the next 2 years.
Why?
Over the next 2 weeks?
2 years.
Oh, 2 years. Okay.
2
yeah,
weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa,
Why?
Kevin.
I have no idea.
As a publicity?
Regretosaurus Rex.
As a stunt?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's just a big old Regretosaurus. And then,
Yeah.
like, again, this will
Maybe he wants
give.
to be an actor.
He is an actor.
Exactly.
But they
So
make
he's
makeup
getting
for
rid of
that.
All right.
Gonna
yeah,
need
but
to
he's
hide-
tired of
there's
getting
gonna
covered
be
in makeup
scars
every day.
everywhere.
This is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for 2 years later for him to be covered in scars.
Yeah,
Great.
he's gonna
And
look
people
like
be
he
like,
just-
"Oh, laser removal, hey."
yeah, that's gonna be bad because, like we talked about last time, you don't always see the scars.
No.
Like
Not until
people
the
will be
ink's
sitting
gone.
there, and they're like, "How do I know my work's scarred?" Because I talk about it in my vlog sometimes how I had scar on this place or this
Yep.
place. They're like, "My tattoos look fine. I don't have any scars." I'm like, "You have no idea what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Like there could be so much scar in any one tattoo that you don't necessarily see it.
Yeah.
Now, that said, you're going to get up pretty close to him with the camera under specific lighting to see that scarring. Like most tattoo scars.
Depends on how bad it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Some of my scars really bad. Like
But
my
stick and pokes
knuckles
don't
are
scar.
just look
Well,
at the skin
yeah.
on my knuckles.
Put
Like
that
that
to the
looks
test.
like a chicken's neck or something. It's pretty bad. It depends on what it
my knuckles
is.
already look like that, but it's also scars.
I don't know, man. That's pretty.
That's
bad.
gnarly. Yeah.
That's all scar, and I have some bad scar on the top of my left foot too. But those are infection scars. So.
I'm just interested for people to see the reality that is laser.
Yeah.
You know
on
what I mean?
a big scale.
On a
laser
large
will
scale,
create
yeah.
more scars?
Sorry?
Will the laser create more scars?
No.
Okay.
Well, people
Not-
often think that laser is like a one-time, like,
Yeah.
oh, I just went and got rid of it.
Yeah,
Like, that's,
fixed it.
No one knows the details of laser. It's
No.
like, oh, it's going to suck when he has to get that lasered off. Yeah, it's going to suck when he spends 6 months lasering that off, is what
Yeah.
you mean to say.
Yeah.
Not
Or more, really.
more-
Well,
more in
and
some
like
cases.
if he's going to do his whole body, you can't do that all at once. Otherwise, you go to the hospital.
I'm picturing him
die.
doing like
Yeah.
an hour every second day.
But either
Oh.
way, with like so he's in New York, so a skin clinic in New York charging you a laser session. That's probably $300 or $400 per laser session, which is going to do maybe your hand size, maybe a little bit
least.
more. Over the course of 2 years, he's going to be spending maybe $300,000, maybe more.
Yeah, see,
Getting
in
laser
this
removal?
unique case, though, I would cough up the money before I'd cough up the time and the pain and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
journey there.
But he's like he got into getting tattoos because he didn't want to. He was a self harm guy, right? Like he was cutting.
Oh.
So
I think
what he
that's
would
why
do
I
is he
started
would
doing
do
piercing.
tattoos so he wouldn't mess up the tattoos,
Yeah.
right? So and then for him became like if he was feeling the need for self harm, he would just go to a tattoo shop and get a tattoo.
Right.
So not only does he have the scars of the tattoos themselves, he's going to have scarring underneath as well. And then that does present a bit of an issue because that little explosion does happen, and it does interact with that scar tissue in some way, shape, or form. So it might make some things worse. It might
So
not.
he's
But then he'll have to go to a laser clinic
trading
for another 2
tattoos
years.
for scarification, basically.
Yeah. And like, but or the other thing is that he is really good buddies with a very good tattoo artist, London Reese. You know him?
Oh, now he's going to get a good suit.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if he's got plans for a full body suit with London.
Because like,
And-
I can't picture being a tattoo guy and being like, I can't get rid of all my tattoos.
Yeah, I know.
It's got to be
It
like...
seems so strange.
I got to get a blackout instead.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So if you're a full tattoo guy, I know several people who are doing this right now. The same thing I did, where
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want to stop getting tattooed. That's what it generally goes to.
Mm-hmm.
People who think that blackout is like, I don't like tattoos. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I like them too much.
That's right.
Whereas laser seems like, I don't want these anymore.
Yeah.
Blackout doesn't have that feeling to me.
No.
It's a different answer to the same.
Yeah.
or no, it's different pathology.
Yeah.
Is what I want to say.
So he won't be too concerned about scars if his plan is new bodysuit.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
what I'm
gonna
hoping.
be harder to get some of that to work.
That's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like laser does make a lot of life easier for anyone covering up. And again, London is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he can do a great job of
Yeah.
whatever they do. If that's what they do, which is what I'm hoping.
Okay, what's this
I
guy's
wonder
name
what the
again?
approach
Pete
would
something?
be.
Pete Davidson.
Pete
So, like,
Davidson.
will he start working on it before all the laser's done?
No. My guess would be
He wants a clean canvas before he touches it, kind of thing.
Oh, no. I see what you're saying.
It's like you start removing the old ones. Once you get halfway through, you start adding new ones, and eventually you
Maybe.
catch up.
Well, if you think about it too, like if you're going to get 2 years of laser removal, you're at least 2 or 3 years of tattooing,
Yeah.
right?
It's a long process of getting your skin beat to shit.
Yeah. But
That's
it's
a
dope.
lot of work.
It
It's dope.
is, but
If
when
that's
I
what you're
was,
going with.
I think 27, I was like, I'm going to be fully covered by the time I'm 35.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 33.
You're
I've been-
double covered.
Yep, and going
Triple
for
covered.
another. I think I can be done again by the time I'm 35.
Then what?
Laser removal. Let's do it all again.
Man, I cannot imagine laser removaling that many layers of things.
Oh yeah, it'd be wild.
Just seeing what you unearthed too.
Yep.
What have I?
It's like
Well,
peeling an
stumbled
onion.
into? Good
Maybe once
Lord.
the black on black is done, Kevin starts lasering between the...
That's what I'm saying. Laser designs into them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a really fun day today.
Yeah, you do.
I'm actually really excited now. I wasn't really like I was excited to get to this point, right? I think I talked about this last week where it's like, okay, so after we got everything lined out, now it's just like we got to fill all of these in, and that's kind of agonizing, right? Like it's step by step. The way Rick works is building it up, right? Very gradually. We're not going to do two. We're going to do one at a time, right? So you're in that process for quite a while. Now I'm out of that. Now we're just like we're back to adding like details into things and stuff, and we have the bones of this thing set in now, kind
Yeah.
of. And now it's like polishing things and adding things, but we have an image now,
That's right.
right? It's not just like an idea, right? That's the hardest part because people don't understand where you're going. And as I was talking to Rick about this morning, I don't know if you overheard, but I've been thinking a lot about how I want to pull it all together because, like, there's got to be something that connects all of this. And I came up with an idea, and he went for it, like, immediately. He was like, yeah, that's the right call. And I don't think he would just say that. Like, I think he'd tell me it was stupid.
Yes. He loves telling you if your idea is stupid.
Yeah. He's done it to me before.
It's one of his great joys.
He hasn't done it to me in a while, but I think that's because I'm figuring it out more and more, right? Like, I'm coming up with less bad ideas, like stars on the connector right here and star below my belly button.
Stars that connect your armpits?
Yeah. I had... That's where people look at my old suit and they're like, oh,
They're
it was so cool. Why did you get rid of all that stuff? I'm
It was
like,
all the wrong things
there
to
was
do.
so many bad ideas in there that I cobbled together in a way that kind
Do you
of
know how
worked.
often someone asks me to get a thing that connects here to here to here? And I'm like, no one can see those four sides of you at the same time.
And then not to mention you're taking over a really good canvas and a really good canvas with pieces.
Not to mention, for them to connect,
Yeah.
they only connect here. This is the only visible space that these two pieces can connect.
Yep.
Are we going to jump this gap? We're going to have them go into
Yes.
your bicep and out
100%.
to here? Then you
Anytime.
open your bicep, it makes, or is this the
It's
same
a brand
image
new
as in
scene.
here?
Who knows?
Anytime I get posted on one of these big tattoo pages, there's at least one guy in there that's like, he said fuck you to the artist that did that first suit. I'm like, yeah, I said fuck you to those 20 guys.
Yeah.
Like, there was that many working on it. And
Fuck you guys.
a lot of them didn't even want to do the tattoos they were doing. It was no one's masterpiece. It was cobbled together loosely
Starmpits.
in my head.
Ghost armpits.
Nobody laid this out. Have you looked at the pieces in here? There's a bat being held by skeleton hands that are like mushy and gray. You can barely make them out. When I look at that, I can barely make them out. There's no way anyone else can.
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for. There's like skeleton door knockers here. There's stars here, and my belly button. Like, it was just like a big pile of crap that I put together.
A collage, if you will.
It was. And you know what? It looked good for what it was. But it wasn't a great tattoo. Like, I was like, man, if I had laid these plans better, and if the guy who did the tentacles, if he could have put them in properly, like, there was a lot of stuff where it was like, if only.
It's kind of like when you look at a house as a house, or if you look at a house as how the house actually is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, look at that. They did a house. That's a house.
That's a house. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a house.
Cool.
Technically, I own a house, but it's falling apart.
Yeah, exactly. How close are you looking on
The
this one?
sewer's backing up into the tub.
So
Yeah. Now we got to black out this house.
I tried
Yeah.
to start getting tattooed the right way. Like, I walked into a tattoo shop here in town
it's hard to start
that was
getting
reputable,
tattooed the right way.
and I had all. I mean, they were more reputable back then than they are now. If that makes any
Oh,
sense.
I see which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about these guys. I was like, damn, dude.
No. As there was one time, those guys were actually pretty reputable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Once upon a time.
So I walked in with all the
In a
ideas for a
land
sleeve.
far, far away.
Had a consult with this guy. Okay, this is gonna be sweet. I come back and he's a way more trad than I was hoping for. I was hoping for a little bit more like, yeah, cool drawing. No, everything's from the 70s and not good. Not like
From the times it
To the
was
time
illegal.
it was illegal, yeah.
yeah, I just didn't
We're
like
still working that way.
Yeah.
didn't like his drawing.
Don't
So,
mind
like,
the cockroaches.
Okay, so I got one of. So then I got him to do one on one leg, one on the other leg instead of getting a sleeve. And I was like, okay, well now I've fucked myself.
Yep.
That's good.
It's easy to do.
It's quite easy to do. Then I went to the next artist, and then I ended up fucking moving away. So it took me like 2.5 years to finish the one piece because he was quite new and quite slow. And then never managed to continue that sleeve.
The
And then
quote
it just
that
turned into a
comes
mess.
to mind always for me, but this is by the time a man's wise enough to
Yeah.
watch his step, he's too old to get there.
That's it.
Right? By the time you figure out what you should do with your tattoos, you've generally already fucked it up.
Tattooing is so like that. Like when someone comes to me with their first tattoo and they're playing this sleeve, and I'm like, your first tattoo is gonna be a sleeve that you're gonna fucking like,
Yeah.
and it's all gonna work together. I'm
Yeah.
just jealous.
You
Yeah.
did that with
That's
your
how
arm.
I started, yeah.
You did that with your arm.
Yeah. Because I had held off forever, because it was like nothing that I always wanted to go big with it. And there was no one that I didn't have the money at the time. So it was like,
Can
I don't
I
have the
take
money.
a guess? Were you financially responsible at that point in your life and in decent shape?
No.
Financially?
Nope.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No,
never mind.
I just happened to come across some extra money.
Okay.
And it was like, all right, well, this is where it's going. Not to my mountain of debt.
I was gonna say when I started my fair enough.
Dude, I was in bands.
When I started
I
You play
racked up
music for a
so
living.
much debt with that. Like, what are we talking?
when I started getting tattooed, it was like every couple months I can afford a piece.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make the piece too big or I'll never get it finished. So then you end up getting small pieces.
Oh, yeah.
No, see, and like I've always been financially responsible, so
I just-
money
I
was
didn't have
never
the
the issue.
resources
I just
I have
couldn't
now,
find
I
a
think.
fucking artist who would take care of it.
Because like once you own a house and once you have like your routine and your bills set and like you've got your bubble,
Then you know where
you've
you
got
can.
room to wiggle and you can negotiate things and make deals with yourself. When you're young and you're living sort of paycheck to paycheck, it's like, I really want a tattoo, but I can't afford a real tattoo, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
get this star.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that'll have to do. And before long, you've got a whole bunch of those.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to make a sleeve or a bodysuit out of it. And that's where I got to later in life when I had the resources now. And it's like, but I have all this other stuff to work around.
Yep.
So what can I pull
Tricky.
together?
Well, that's the thing. It's like the equation has to kind of add up. And that's that when we landed on that financial portfolio thing, it's like, yeah, that's really true. It's
Yeah.
like as your finances climb, so can your tattoos.
Yeah, really. And it's not even always just about making more money. It's just
No.
about
How you deal with it.
how you deal with it.
This ties in funny to what I'm always harping on Allie for. All her clients are these broke skater kids
Yeah.
who are like, yeah, I want to get this little tattoo like here or here, like right in the
Put it
main
the place
front,
that'll do the most damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
front row
100%.
center, and all of them have the same answer. Oh yeah, I'm turning this into a sleeve. I got a
Yeah.
plan for it. It's gonna be like this and like this, and I'm like, oh honey,
Yeah.
no, you don't. So
That's
I'm always telling her,
adorable. Do you ever
not
pat
bel-
them on the head?
yeah, do not believe them. Convince them to put it on their goddamn ankle.
Yeah,
it's a
I know.
tiny bullshit
Yeah, that's
tattoo.
an ankle tattoo.
Yeah, put it maybe the back of their tricep, a little bit of the way. Maybe I don't know, just not in the middle of their chest panel.
Yeah.
like let's get a little teeny tattoo right here. You can't work around that.
Like that
That's so
Britney
tough
portrait.
That's broken
oh,
now.
exactly.
You broke
That's
it.
just
fucking
like that.
weird.
Yep.
That's like what?
There's a Britney Spears dime-sized portrait on this guy's chest that he reacted to.
See, I have
like,
a
what are you
teeny-sized
gonna do with
portrait on the side of my thigh, so it'll never matter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where you put something like
That's
that.
right.
I
Like,
had
everybody
tons
Yeah,
of
little
we've
those.
talked about this forever. It's legs.
Legs. and
Legs, and
plates.
it's especially above the knee. If you got weird shit to put on your body, go above the knee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
Yeah,
man's
my
land.
Thank you.
The only
That's
person
That's a
that's gonna see it
responsible
is
way of doing
you,
that.
your wife, and your dog is going to see that tattoo.
Exactly.
That's right.
And none of them are really going to judge it too
Yeah.
harshly.
Don't
No,
put that on
no.
your inner forearm.
It's like
Yeah.
my wife's tattoo, Frank, that I love
Yeah.
so much. If that was on her arm, that would be more problematic.
Yes.
Frank wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
I
Frank
have a
wouldn't
feeling.
be Frank. Frank wouldn't have a family bond.
All of a sudden, Frank becomes the eyesore of the day
Yeah.
and becomes a blackout
An
sleeve.
embarrassment.
Yeah. Get out of here, Frank. No one wants you.
I've never
here.
heard of Frank before. I'm so
Really?
excited
Oh,
now.
it's amazing.
Frank is like this goofy, like green skull with like an open mouth and like
Oh,
jagged
good.
teeth, and his eyes aren't shaded at all.
What style?
He's a gramophone, a skull gramophone.
You would say traditional.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
cool. Yeah, yeah.
traditional.
Line style.
Yes.
Classic Lethbridge tattoo.
Yeah, tattoo.
Yeah,
It is
tattoo style.
tattoo
Yep.
style.
I
She
know
always
exactly
feels
what you
bad
mean.
when we talk about it. She's like, the guy who did it is much better now. I'm like, it's okay. We love Frank.
Frank's part of the family. It's fine.
Yeah, Frank is one of the family until
It
he's
is
on
hilarious
your,
how much
until
better
he's
he
on
is
your
now.
forehead. Until
Yeah.
he's on your forehead.
Exactly. And that's where, like, when people come in and they're like, hey, I got $80. Put this on my hand. I'm just like,
Yeah, one of my coworkers did that.
yes.
And he's
Luckily,
like, whoa, it's not bad, but it's not what I wanted it to be. I'm like, yeah, well, you're a cook and you work with your hands. You
Yeah.
have no idea what you're talking about.
yes.
Like, he's not unhappy with it.
No, of course.
But, like, he wanted it to be super dark.
That's never going to
I'm
happen.
like, that's not the skin you're working on, pal.
Yeah, he works with the guy with blackout hands. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, he was talking to me about it and just completely clueless about the whole thing and how
Yeah.
any of it worked. It's just like, maybe don't start on your
Yeah,
hand.
don't start on your stinking hand until you find an artist you trust and stuff.
It's, I mean, obviously you got to do what you got to do, but
I just always think, like, hands take maintenance. You have to prove that you can have maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that just makes a lot of sense. If you've had to heal a ton of stuff, if you've had to come back for touch-ups, if you've had your issues,
it was not my first place.
yeah.
I had like a whole lot going on up here before I ever even went down onto my lower arms.
Yeah.
Like I had a whole chest and like shoulders, and I had a lot on my back and stuff before I went to my my sleeves. Like
Yeah.
I had a few arm tattoos up here and one here. For a long time, I didn't have any sleeve tattoos. I was like, why bother with that? Right?
Who needs
So,
those?
Like I built into those though. Like I built from the top down with my sleeves. So I think that's probably the way to do it.
Usually.
That sounds smart.
Well, it's a good introduction to tattoos too, because more and more people will be able to see them as they go lower.
Yeah.
Right?
I said I've started
Go
like
along.
3 sleeves recently where I started on the bottom.
I think it's more visually appealing to people.
Yeah.
They get to
Yeah.
interface with it more.
That's right.
Because that's what it is. Like, the most gratifying tattoos are the ones you see the most.
But especially nature tattoos. If you're building nature tattoos, you kind of got to start at the bottom because a lot of your space is going to be built by layering back. You know, like if you're building a nature sleeve, you're often going to have a subject very close to you, and then some close-up nature. It's going to be a stream or whatever's next, and then you're building tree lines and mountains and skylines in after that, right? So it's really you're making a lot of sense and working in the path of less resistance, not more resistance.
Well, we
You
did
start at
that
the
with my blackouts,
yeah.
right? And especially with my legs, it was like we'll start at the very bottom, work up almost like you're climbing a tree. And it was probably the right approach, too, because things got more and more painful as we went up. Mm-hmm. The sessions seemed to get more severe as time went on, where it was like, oh, this is becoming a greater and greater problem.
Yeah.
Well, you guys also sped up as you went along, right?
We did.
So it was like you're covering more ground. And
But
it was
I
more
found that
painful.
this tissue was more sensitive for
Oh, of
me.
course, yeah.
Like anything when we got past like the harder, firmer spots.
Once you're here, you're fucked.
Well,
Like this is the sides of the knees right here.
the inside of my
Just
knee was really bad,
silly.
but then it wasn't as bad as the deep inner thighs.
Even like back here, still a bad time. But also the chick doing this part of my leg was like running right in the tube, running way too deep. So all this shit, not only did it hurt way more than it had to, it also fell the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I just have to get it fixed, and I don't care to.
Oh, that's the other thing is your experiences are colored by the artist you're working with too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I was expecting much more pain on my stomach this time, and I haven't really had that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, maybe it depends on who's doing it. Because like
You-
when I was getting my stomach lined the first time, it was hell on earth, and nothing ever stayed. He was probably too shallow or something, using the wrong needles.
Well,
No,
a big problem that in the feeling is when the hand speed doesn't match the needle speed.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like it's getting dragged through you, and then all of a sudden it's like this cutting feeling, rather than like if it's
Yeah.
running right, it's moving in and out of the skin at the correct tempo to what your hand's moving. Whereas like I'll never forget it. There was this thing that Adam was doing on me. He had to like just kind of rough in this. And he didn't change the tempo of his machine, grabbed a liner, and went like this, really fast. And it was like, dude, that felt like a knife cutting through me. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous
You
because
get
it's
tattooed
basically
with a
pushing the
knife.
needles up against your skin.
That happened to me on I used to have roses on my chest. The artist who did them, she like tore me up real bad. Lee told me that he could tell she was running her needles too fast for her hand speed.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know, it feels like she went too deep. He's like, no,
Yeah.
That's
She was
that's
going
one
too-
way artists can get a good line is by going the right depth and going very slow. So because you won't blow out if you're very light pressure, you're going super fast machine, real slow hand, you can get this super solid line without blowing out.
I had this
But you've taken that skin on top and you've just hamburgered it.
chunky like scab there
Yeah.
for like 2 months. It was like just kind of slowly degenerating.
Yeah.
And it's left even now like you can see this line that connects from
Yeah.
like here to here
Yeah.
on my chest where it was just so deeply I don't know how it didn't get infected. It
Yeah.
was so chewed up.
So
and
more-
whenever I moved my arm it was like, oh jeez.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
that
gonna
shouldn't
rip.
happen. Like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. It shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, I was one of the worst for that. But
If I'm lining, I'll more often end up with a lower voltage and then like a little more pressure and a medium hand speed. So like you're still risking you're more risking a blowout there because you're putting a little more pressure on it, but as long as your hand speed stays lined up with the voltage, you can still put quite a bit of pressure on the skin, lay a nice solid line, and have zero blowouts.
I would like-
Those lines, they heal the fastest. Like you'll get a nice solid line healed in 5 days.
Which is how it should feel. Or
Yeah.
like, I mean,
well,
ideally,
that's
right?
what we're going for.
I think
Yeah.
it depends too, though, because like this pattern here that we did, you can feel every single line.
Yeah.
It's so textured. I feel like
that's also your belly. Like,
well, yeah, but I think Rick might have put it in like he meant it to stay. If you know what I mean? Like, like he was almost intentionally scarring it in a little bit.
yeah.
Because like that'll have a better chance of staying there over time. And I don't think he would make a misstep.
No,
like
no,
I'm
no.
thinking he makes every move he makes is intentional.
Definitely not a misstep. Like there's no missteps in regards of depth in skin,
Yeah.
how hard that's worked. Like those technical aspects are natural to him now.
It's just one of those you can feel it like Braille.
Yeah.
And I've seen that with other tattoos he's done too, where it's like,
But now
oh wow, that's
some
What's
of
in
that
there?
braille
Yeah.
feeling can also just go away.
Yeah,
in like
it's
6
true.
months.
6 months
'Cause,
or
like
so.
I've got lots of tattoos where like I'm watching this one heal. Like it's super braille right now over that bone.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling in 6 months she'll be gone.
that was this line. It was
Yeah.
super like chunky.
yeah.
But
I
now
look at
it's-
that line a lot while we're podcasting.
Me too.
I see it quite a bit.
The line, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really uprisen still.
Yeah.
But it
yeah.
was more so. It was more so. Like people were noticing it. Like, why is that so uprisen? It looks 3D. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know how that
No
happened.
idea.
And Rick was
I didn't
just
do
like,
anything.
Oh, I double lined it, and it's over scar. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
it makes sense.